What's going on, everybody? Good late afternoon. We're getting to this one a little bit later than I usually like to. Usually take care of it in the morning on Friday, but some other stuff was just a little more important. Nevertheless, we got to get to this one because this is basically this is the game. This is the game that determines whether or not Washington can at least have a little scrap of respectability after this season, or if they're just going to be a trivia answer, an embarrassing and humiliating trivia answer for the foreseeable future. So this is actually a big game. I'm pretty locked into it. I know the last 2 weeks have been extremely demoralizing and have obviously taught us that our team just isn't very good. But I'm still going to go ahead and get up for this one because I was not expecting a great season. I wasn't even really expecting a good season. And I'm on board with them needing a year to step way back before they can try to step forward again. I'm not against it. There are some things with this program that concern me. I do have problems with what I've seen so far from Fischk, but I'm willing to let this play out a little bit longer if I need to. But part of that, me willing to have that patience, does involve, at the very least, finding a way to get this team to a bowl game. And this is the game that determines it. So first of all, let me say, I will be streaming this game tomorrow. Starts a little less than 24 hours, 4:30 kickoff. So it'll be a normal time for a football game, so that's nice. So stream will start around 4:30. I'll be live streaming the whole thing, reacting to plays, doing play-by-play, talking about the game, talking with people in chat, and we should find a way to have a good time. Even if the game doesn't go well, we'll find a way to have a good time like we always do. So check in on YouTube for that stream. I'll be posting it up probably a little later tonight on YouTube, and we will go live when the game starts. So, that all out of the way, let's discuss what's going on here, because Washington has 4 games left this season. One of the games is against UCLA, which should be a free win. And if it's not, we don't even need to be having this discussion. Never happened, because at that point the team is so embarrassing. They wouldn't deserve to make a bowl game even if they beat Oregon, honestly. That would be like your bowl game, and that would be all you're getting. But you've got that part of it. You've got a game against Oregon, you know you're going to lose, and then you got the game against Penn State, you're going to lose. So that means if you can count on your assumptions cashing in, like you can count on the Huskies losing to the Ducks, losing to the Nittany Lions, and then beating the Bruins, this is the game that determines whether or not you get to 6 wins. And I assume you're going to need 6 wins to get a bowl invite. I don't think a 5-win Washington team is going to be attractive to potential bowl games. So, quite simply, you got to make it happen. And you've got an opportunity here at home against a USC team that has shown they have real problems. They got a nice quarterback. Sometimes the offense clicks and things are going pretty good, but that defense, not a lot going on there. Not a lot going on with that defense. They got a nice safety. What's his name? Lassiter. I may be getting... Oh, Ramsey. Kamari Ramsey. But other than that, this is not playing Iowa on the road. This is not playing Indiana on the road. Both of those defenses are so rough and tumble that it's just really, really hard to put together drives on them. But this USC defense, when you're playing at home, hopefully not in really bad weather or anything like that, this game needs to be a different story. If not, then you got to start worrying about the long term of this team, because the talent level on this offense isn't great, but it's not bad. So you should be able to grind up and down the field on this USC defense that is very, very weak. And, I mean, it's so weak that USC isn't even as good as people expected they were going to be this year, and people didn't have super high expectations to begin with. But this is a team that was ranked at one point. This was a team that some people were getting excited by after they beat, I think it was LSU. And then they proceeded to lose some pretty embarrassing games, and showing that not only is their defense still not there, but their offense is not as good as it typically is to try to bail them out. So this has now become a very winnable game, which I would not necessarily have thought before the season, maybe. But this is now officially in a spot where we have to look at this game as being eminently winnable. And I think they can get it done. I think the offense is going to be taking out some frustration on USC after 2 straight weeks of some really disappointing, inconsistent, and obnoxious play. And I think it'll be enough. I do, because for the most part this year, the defense has been good. Like, I know they're not as good as their rankings because they padded stats against really bad offenses. But this defense should be up to the challenge. I kind of feel the same way about this game that the Michigan game went, right? I didn't think we were going to beat Michigan going into that game. But looking at the way that game went, not exactly the same, but I think we can win that way. USC obviously has a legitimate quarterback that Michigan doesn't really have right now. But I kind of feel like it'll be like that. It'll be a back and forth game, and eventually UW will just lean on USC enough to go ahead and get the win here. So I place something in that. I know a lot of college football fans, especially fans of big programs, would say, who cares about bowl eligibility? Who cares about making the the stupid bowl? Who cares about making the dumb bowl? Like there are so many bowl games now, and some of them are basically punchlines, right? The Meineke car salesman bowl, just all different kinds of bowl games. Some people would say, who cares if you make a low-level bowl game? I mean, at best, maybe you get offered up as an easy sacrifice for a much better team, so you watch your team get humiliated in the bowl game. But my goal before this season was to get to 6-6 and make a bowl game. So if they can meet that goal, I'll take something into the offseason with that. But I don't want to be a team that made a national championship game, went undefeated until that national championship game, and then the next year doesn't even make a bowl game. I think Texas did that when they made it with Colt McCoy, and then the next year with Garrett Gilbert, they didn't make it, and it was humiliating. Everyone was laughing at them. Texas fans were completely just devastated. I remember. So I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be another bad trivia answer. So I do play stock into it. I know a lot of you guys don't. I know a lot of you guys would say, what's the difference between 5 wins and 6 wins? They both suck. A team worth of crap would be already bowl eligible, regardless of what happens the rest of the way. And I get all that. I understand. But I feel like it is part of the process. And I don't think steps in the process can just be skipped like that most of the time. Like when we brought in Kalen DeBoer a couple of years ago, and the program was in shambles, and he immediately turned it around, and you didn't have to go through the building up steps. You just got to skip right to being one of the best teams. That doesn't happen all the time. And the reality is Jedd Fisch may end up being the head coach of this team for a while. He is under contract for a while, so I'm not looking for him to just throw away games and throw away seasons so we can get fired faster and we can get somebody else. I want to see this work, because the alternative is trying to find something else, and sometimes finding something else isn't easy. But I'm gonna say we do it. I'm gonna say we get it done. We're angry after the last couple games. We need a win. I think we're gonna get it, and I think we're gonna be set up to make that bowl game. But they got to go out there and do it. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bow down to Washington, streaming this game tomorrow afternoon.